Just when I thought my life couldn't get any worse, it finds a way to. Almost exactly 1 year to the day of my last layoff, I get laid off again. Yes, from the job that is paying for my IVF. And
so the job losses are continuing. We talked about it yesterday. We got the shutdown. We got job losses. Just AI is laying off everybody. Is the economy as good as we think it is? Let's look at these videos. There's some really good ones, and let's read some of the comments. Let's go.
I'm going to be completely honest. It wasn't a total layoff. It was you have 5 weeks to put your house on the market and uproot your entire life and move to Phoenix, Arizona, or it is a layoff. 5 weeks, which poses as a problem because you guys know I'm in the middle of my IVF cycle. And they're paying for my IVF. So, I just cannot believe this is happening. And you don't get to give me crap for tearing up because I get to cry over this, okay? I get to cry. The job that has handcuffs on me because they're paying for my IVF is telling me the only way I have a job is if I uproot my entire life and move to Phoenix, Arizona. In 5 weeks, and I'm building a home here. I'm going through IVF here. I'm building my life here. I have a home here. And this isn't even something that, I told them no. I'm not going to Phoenix, Arizona. I'm sorry. And they, wouldn't take no as an answer. They're sleep on it. I'm I can't go to Phoenix. And I was find me something in Texas, somewhere else in Texas. Find me something in Utah where I'm from. And they're we can't guarantee you relocation if you don't take this role. And I'm and it's not something I can sit on for a very long time because it's so much work to list your house, let alone pack up your entire life and move somewhere else by November. I have until the first week of November to move to a whole other state, or I don't. And I take the severance package, which they didn't really give me information on what it was. I was send me a severance package. I'll sign that shit. Just kidding. And I lose my IVF coverage, and it's not the end of the world. I can afford to pay for the transfer out of pocket. The expensive part's done, The expensive part is really done. But nothing could have prepared me for that phone call today. And I mean nothing. I can't uproot my life in 5 weeks. I could if I really wanted to, but I really don't want to. I was so excited for this house, and to think in a blink of an eye, it's have to cancel that contract, have to list my current home for sale, hire movers, pack up everything, find a new place to live in Phoenix, find a new fertility clinic in Phoenix, pay to have my embryo shipped from Texas to no. Damn, God really wants to just switch up my whole life. I don't understand. I've lived
Shalom, a call hello, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, that's giving all praise to the Most High, in the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders and apostles, the great millstone, who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful lake scattered abroad. Shalom to 144,000. And real quick, I want to go into this live video, pretty much just, showing this video right here. It comes from, it doesn't say, it says, shocking 2025 layoff surge from federal chaos to tech bloodbath. All right. And you got people all over TikTok, all over the internet crying and losing their minds because they're losing their jobs. All right. And, truth be told, you shouldn't put too much stock in this place, man. You shouldn't put too much stock in a job. You shouldn't put too much, of your life, into Babylon. Because we've been telling you, starting with our head elders and apostles of great millstone on down, that this place is finished. But people who are of this world and in this world and caught up in this world, they're losing their minds because they're seeing that this place is crashing. They're seeing that, the comfort, the security that a job has afforded them is, coming to an end. And let me grab this real quick. Okay, because this is why the scriptures, teach us. It says, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And when you put your trust in this man and his system, you got all these people that went and signed up for them government jobs because they thought that was the best jobs you can have is a government job. They thought they were going to be secure. That was you putting your trust in this man and his system. Well, as you see, the Lord is crashing his system. And what does she say right here in the last bit of this video? And she a good-looking woman, Okay, she a good looking woman. You know, she'll make some pretty babies. But she said how she putting her eggs in a fertility clinic. She pretty much trying to freeze her eggs and stuff. Why? Because she's caught up in her career. All right, she's not focused on having kids right now. She's more so caught up in her career, and that's how a lot of these women are. But you're going to come to find out that your career is not going to help you. Your career cannot save you. The only thing that's going to help you and save you is doing the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And people are going to come to this understanding that, you know, that there's only one way, okay, at the last minute. All right, now listen to what she said real quick. All right, let's play that last part back. She did a lot of rambling, but let's play that last part back.
The place to live in Phoenix, like, oh my, find a new fertility clinic in Phoenix, pay to have my embryo shipped from Texas to, no. Damn, like, God really wants to just switch up my whole life. I don't understand. Like, I've lived 9.
Now, she said, God really just wants to switch up my whole life. And that's what the Lord is doing. He's about to switch up you people's whole lives. You know, what you thought was, you know, the way, you know, your comfort, you know, this life that you love to live, you know, your careers and whatnot. The Lord ain't with none of that stuff, man. The Lord don't care about your career. And especially these women. These women are all caught up in their careers, man. You know, all caught up in their jobs. Well, guess what? Your job is about to lay you off, and then you're going to have to go back and beg a man to take you in when you know, can't even feed yourself, when you can't even protect yourself in the times we're coming into, man. It's about to get very, very uncomfortable, very, very ugly out here. And the only comfort that's going to come is from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So if you don't know Yahweh Bashim Yahushai or have been serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you are not going to have that comfort, okay? So yeah, you're right. The Lord is switching up, changing up everybody's whole lives. And you have no idea, you know, how bad it's going to get. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Why? Because this man is still the devil. All right? He doesn't care about your job. He doesn't care about you needing this and needing that. All right? Truth be told, this is all orchestrated. This whole layoff thing, you know, the government shutting down, all this stuff is orchestrated, man. All right? They want people to be out of jobs. They want people to be, you know, down and out so they can push that MOTB on you, so they can, you know, back you into a corner where you have to take the charagma, man. All right, it's all according to plan, and when you understand that, you're gonna move differently. You're gonna, you ain't gonna be online crying, because this is ultimately, this is all the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So yes, it's the Lord's will to switch you, to change your people's lives up, because you ain't been serving or even acknowledging the true Creator. You know, you ain't been taking heed to the prophets. We see women like this pass by the camp all day, every day, you know, on Saturday and whatnot, man. And they don't even bat an eye. They don't even look in our direction, because you in your own little world. Well, now the Lord is shattering your own little world. Okay, the Lord is shattering that, man. All right, so we coming into a time where you're going to see these people get desperate. It's going to get bad. All right, these women are going to drop all these standards. They're going to be humbled. You see, because it was the liberty of this place that gave them, you know, that pride and arrogance to, you know, boast, you know, themselves. And, you know, you had to wear, you know, you had a ridiculous amount, hundreds of thousands of so-called black women that lost their jobs when Trump got in office, man. Okay, but you were saying how you don't need a man. You don't need a man. And then now they come to find out that they need a man. You know, it's going to get so bad. You might have, you know, 4 or 5 women trying to, you know, cling to one man, you know, on this side, you know, to help pay bills, you know, so they can all live, you know, and not be dying, you know, trying to keep your head above water. And that's already kind of taking place now, where women are, you know, starting to realize that they're going to need a man, all right? But it's going to get worse, all right? This thing is only going to escalate. It's only going to get worse. And before you know it, all hell is going to be breaking loose. People are going to be eating each other. Ain't going to be no jobs. The last thing you're going to be worried about is a job, all right? There's going to be layoffs. Everybody's going to get laid off. All that's left is for this economy to collapse, and this place is going to go into complete shithole, all right? People going to be stabbing each other up, and, you know, over a can of peas. You're not going to be thinking about going to work. It ain't going to be no work, all right? Going reading on, it says, well, let me leave that right there. Now let's grab this real quick, too. Because, you know, we in that time, man, where the Lord is really about to do his thing. Let's see, work. What's that? Yeah, let's do this. We about to see it, man. But you know, the crazy part is we've been telling you this was coming way before it came. So there's no excuse. All right, there is no excuse, man. People gonna start crashing out and getting violent because they don't know where their next meal is coming from. You know, their mortgage payments. People buying these houses, bro. You got to be a damn fool to be buying a house, bro. You can buy a house, be paying a mortgage, and the whole time the bank can still take your house. Okay, it doesn't matter. You know, it's all a facade here. All right. So your mortgage payments, you can't pay your mortgage payments. Now they take your house. You don't put 200,000 into this house. You know, and that's where people are going to lose their minds. I saw a post last night, on Newsbreak about Trump, pretty much bragging about more jobs are going to be taken. Okay, this is all according to plan. This is going to be that great reset. This is why they're talking about a universal basic income. They're going to put you, in subjection to this beast system and tell you we'll give you crumbs and you sit back and shut up. Okay, you will. What that guy Klaus Schwab said, you will own nothing and be happy. Now, and how do people be happy owning nothing? Because they want to put a chip inside you where they can control your emotions. They can control your thoughts. So you're not going to be really happy, but they're going to make you happy, okay? Another thing I realized, too, I've been meditating. I almost went live on my way home because, when I drive home, I drive down this major street, and all you see is dispensaries going up. Dispensaries going up. It's every other day it's a new dispensary going up, a new weed shop where they're selling this, this chemical-laced marijuana and stuff, pretty much keeping people drugged up. That's another thing, man. Everybody's high as hell on drugs, trying to cope, from the pain, trying to cope from their depressions and whatnot. So that's another thing. Everywhere you look now, it's these dispensaries popping up. All right, and people are going in there, and they're getting these medical things, these medical licenses or whatever, and all they doing is smoking all day and just high out of their mind and trying to escape reality. Okay, but reality is going to set in. All right, there is no escaping this reality that's coming. Let's play some more of this.
Lives in my 20s. I just, like, what do you even do in this situation? What do you even do? Because it's, and the insurance, and, like, this job has the best parental leave. Like, the best parental leave. I was so excited about that. But I can't just offer my life. I got laid off from my corporate job. My first corporate.
People, they pretty much put their lives on the back burner for these jobs. She was looking at this job thinking about parental leave, but hey, now you ain't gonna have a job. So if you wanted to have children, you should have did that. Done what you was created to do, taken care of a house, had a man, but no, you was chasing a career. And you see that these careers and these jobs are not, they ain't gonna help you. They can't save you. Esau can't help you. He can't save himself. It's like a sinking ship. The captain going down with it. Okay? The best thing you can do is get the fuck off the ship. All right? Let's go right here. It says, Isaiah chapter 19, verse 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, brush or rush may do. Right? Ain't gonna be no more work out here. Okay? And that's all around. Eventually, we're all gonna lose our jobs. That's the harsh reality. And this is why we're going to be trusting upon Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man. Okay, because we're going to all lose our jobs. There is going to be no jobs here, man, in America, bro. So you can't say that you wasn't warned. You can't say that you didn't know. Brothers been screaming this, on top of the rooftops, telling you that this place is going to shut down. It's going to shut down. But you still got our people still trusting in this place. Still, expecting this place to, to go on. All right, and you will be greatly mistaken. All right, let's go into NLT. Let's go up in the NLT. It says, verse 14: the Lord has sent a spirit of foolishness on them, so all their suggestions are wrong. They cause Egypt to stagger like a drunk in his vomit, and the Lord is sending out a spirit upon this place, man. He's putting a foolish spirit upon this place where, they're making all the wrong decisions. Your so-called government, you know? And people thinking that it's, oh, why they doing this? Why they doing that? Well, really, it's because it's the Lord's will for this place to go down. Scripture says we would have healed Egypt, which America is modern day Egypt. We would have healed Egypt, okay? But it can't be healed. America's through. So to still be holding on to this place, looking for a career and trying to, save yourselves, that's foolish, okay? That's foolish. And this is why we've turned to the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for comfort, not a career, not no money, not no drugs. We turn to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for comfort. And that's the best thing you can do in these times because everything else is going to fail. What are you going to do when the money runs out? What are you going to do when the drugs run out? What are you going to do when there's no more careers? What are you going to do, when the lights cut off? All right? There is nothing Egypt can do. Ain't going to be nothing you can do here, bro. This place is going to be through. It's already through. And that's all the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's all at the behest of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And you can't say you didn't know because the prophet has been telling you. But you ain't been paying attention. People ain't been paying attention. They don't take these words seriously. Like I said, people pass by the camp and don't even look in our direction. People pass by these videos and don't even watch them, don't even consider. And that's cool. All we're doing is our job. We going to continue to tell you what's coming. And you can not listen. You can play stupid. You can play dumb until it hit you in the face. But our job is done. The blood is off of our hands. We did our job. And that's all that matters, man. Most of these people out here, it ain't no helping them. Going back, it says, Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 15, there is nothing Egypt can do. All are helpless. The head and the tail, the noble palm branch, and the lowly reed. So everybody going to be helpless, man. From the bum on the street to the CEOs of these major companies, bro. You're going to see everybody on a low level. And that's what they're doing. They're making, only two classes. The very, very high upper class rich and the very, very poor. There is not going to be no more middle class. So if you're not super wealthy rich, guess where you're going to be at? At the bottom with the rest of us. What's crazy is that through the Spirit, the Lord already got us at the bottom. We used to it. Okay? Like Bane said, I was molded in the darkness. Okay? We was molded and formed in darkness, man. Okay? They buried us, but they didn't know that we were seeds. But our hope and our trust is not in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai like a plant. We're stretching towards the sun, which is Yahushai. We're not looking for Esau to come and, no, none of that. It's pointless. And if you haven't figured that out by now, it's because the Lord is not dealing with you. Okay? He's going to leave you out here, and a lot of you are just going to have to melt. Okay? And this is why a lot of people are going to take the MOTB, because they're going to be trying to get back to their lives. You see that nice fancy car she in that she probably got to make payments on and all this other crazy shit? Guess what? You ain't going to be able to make them payments no more. You ain't going to be able to pay your mortgage, your car payments, to buy your fancy clothes and jewelry and makeup and shit. All that's coming to an end. The Lord is about to strip you people, man. And you don't see it. In that day, the Egyptians will be as weak as women. You Babylonians, you Americans. They will cower in fear beneath the upraised fist of the Lord of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of heaven's armies. And that's this right here is the punishment of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai coming down. People think it's Trump. They think it's the Republican. They think it's the Democrat. Listen, it's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, it's the Lord doing this, man. All right, and you cannot fight against the Most High. Let's grab this right here too. All right. Let's see, smoked. Because this is what we came to understand, being in this truth. Okay, that hey, it's over. It's over. I understood a long time ago this place was over. Okay, before everybody else is starting to see it. It says Isaiah chapter 10, verse 20. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day. These days we coming into. Okay, these times we coming into. In that day, that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. Meaning you're not going to be trusting in your oppressor. You're not going to be looking to this system that enslaved us to nourish us anymore. Okay? Esau's about to shut this place down. He's about to take away all your benefits. Okay? All your jobs. all your opportunities. Okay? And it's on purpose. It says, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. You see? We're going to be stayed upon Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. Not America, not a political party. Okay? People switching parties every other year. They switching parties. I mean, every other election they switching parties and stuff. Come on, bro. Y'all don't get it yet? Let's go into some of these words before I grab it in the NLT. Let me grab it in the NLT first. In the NLT, it says, in that day, the remnant left in Israel, because the Lord only dealing with a remnant. Majority of the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Indians here in America are going to die. And this is why Trump is gathering the troops. He just sent more troops, you know, from what, the Texas troops in Chicago or whatever. You know, he's putting these troops in place. And a lot of people are about to die. All right. It says, in that day, the remnant in Israel, in that day, the remnant left in Israel, the survivors of the house of Jacob, the ones who didn't die in the famines, the ones who ain't dying in the clashes, with the civil wars that's coming. Because people are going to start bucking up against this government. They're going to start protesting it, and Trump is going to go out there and start mowing people down. Which another thing I wanted to mention, which Lord, I can go into it soon. I saw Trump's son post this about how allegedly America is now a sovereign state or whatever, a sovereign country. You know, I got to go more into it, but basically, I believe they're doing that too. They're separating from these other countries, which is going to cause these other countries to turn against them as well. But they're separated from these other countries so they can do whatever they want to do here, man. There's no hold bars, okay? You don't have to worry about human rights when, you're your own sovereign, you're your own sovereign land. Because if not, they're going to have to answer to the UN and stuff, and they ain't dealing with that. So America is pretty much isolating itself, and it's making enemies with everybody around them, and then even got enemies inside. This is why Trump just met up with them generals and said the war is within. Wait a minute, but y'all going to war all over the world. Now the war is within as well. So it's only a matter of time. The clock is ticking. This place is through. And if you still out here crying about a job, you have no idea it's about to get much, much worse. Like I said, these people are going to take the MOTB. They're going to seek to try to get them their lives back. And this is why me personally, I don't invest too much in this place. Okay. I could have started a business. I could have did this and did that and the third, but then you get too invested in this place. I could have, or even with the whole credit thing, where you got people got these cars and they trying to pay these cars. Listen, bro, they finna take everything. Do not get too invested in this place, man. Okay, because at the end of the day, when push come to shove, this place is going down the hill. This place is going down. All right, and if you too caught up in this place, you going down with it. The fashion of this world shall pass away. So life as we know it is changing. That's what she said. God is changing my life in my 20s. Yeah, not just you, but all you women out here that's proud and thought that you ain't need a man because you got a job. These women, they out here with no man, just running around doing whatever they want to do. That's coming to an end, okay? That's coming to an end. You were created to serve a man, but now you've been serving yourself. You've been serving these false gods. The Lord is about to put this place right back in order. It says, the survivors, because everybody else going to die, the survivors in the house of Jacob will no longer depend on allies who seek to destroy them. What you still calling them? Like it was a video of a Jake woman. She was in this food stamp office crying because her food stamp card didn't hit, which that's another thing. With the government shutdown, your food stamps ain't coming, okay? They're cutting all them government benefits, man. So she in there upset, talking about she got 9 kids to feed, and it was no man in sight in there with her. But whatever, she got 9 kids to feed, and now she need her government assistance. You got Eve talking about the government, her baby daddy. Well, guess what? Now your baby daddy about to make you a single mother, okay? Which when you think about that whole deadbeat thing and the whole baby daddy thing, Esau was the original baby daddies and deadbeats, man. He would go on the plantation and pop the slave women and leave, the babies, which was his children, which was Edomite babies, tares. He would leave them in the field, enslaving his own people because he's a base man. He doesn't understand, But that was the original, baby daddy, deadbeat. Okay, so you think that this man is going to continue to nourish you? He's going to go into his bunkers. He's going to let y'all fight it out here for the last scraps of food. before the nukes ultimately rain on your ass anyways. We see it as clear as day. Everybody else confused. They don't know what's going on. We see it as clear as day. And I'm rooting. I'm rooting. Every time I see these videos, I'm rooting. Call all y'all about Shai. Let's go. Scripture says pray for a few days, man. That's the spirit supposed to be. You ain't supposed to be praying for a better fucking job. Pray for a few days. Pray the Lord destroy this motherfucker. Because that's the best thing for us. As I did, I titled our camp video, as this place go down, we go up. To hell with America, bro. As this place go down, we go up. Because we put all our stock in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And that's the power that's doing it. All right? Let's bring this back. This is heavy, bro. It says, Isaiah chapter 10, verse 20 in the NLT. In that day, the remnant left in Israel, the survivors, because Esau's about to mow 2/3 of our people down. We see it already playing out. It's already been, established on the earth. He getting all his ducks in a row, all his troops in place, and they're going to start unleashing. It says, will no longer depend on allies who seek to destroy them, but they will faithfully trust the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, right? We're going to put our faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. What we look like, trying to petition a Trump to feed us. Hey, if you give the government, the power to feed you, you give the government power to starve you. If you give the government power to house you, you give the government power to make you homeless. Okay? Now we all, is stuck in the system, but hey, your main focus and your main cry and your calling should be to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right? Don't ever, think that this man got power. The Lord, he only got the power the Lord gave him. This is why we go to the source. Okay? We go to the source. It says, a remnant will return. Yes, the remnant of Jacob will return to the mighty power Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So a remnant, okay? The Lord is only concerned with a small number of people because the majority of them are through. I see it amongst my own family, my own friends. Shit, hell, fucking my own damn woman you might deal with, bro. These motherfuckers are stuck. They're in this world. You ain't no helping them. Scripture says, remember Lot's wife. Your own woman might turn on your ass and go and take the charagma, okay? Leave. Don't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all, okay? We in a time where you can't trust a soul but Yahweh Shem Yahushai and the brother of the body, okay? Because we know that we live to a certain standard. We live to a certain structure. But everybody else, people of this world, hell nah, bro. To hell with these people, okay? And if you be simple and think it's sweet, you're going to find out the hard way that they don't give a damn. They don't care about you. People going to be selling each other out in the times we're coming into. Scripture says a man's foe should be there of his own household. All right, let's play some more of this.
Job about 6 months ago. I want to say like maybe 4 or 5 months prior to that. They let us know that there would be layoffs, but never mentioned exactly when that was happening. They were very strategic with this entire process. And then it finally happened at the end of February. And now, today, they announced that they would be laying off 900 people tomorrow. Man. I don't know what's worse. Like working for months knowing that you could potentially not have a job, or like finding out today that tomorrow you could potentially not have a job. While the CEO is working from his remote office where he lives in Southern California. This company is such a joke, and I feel so bad for my old coworkers who are still there that are probably spiraling out of control right now because they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But that just goes to show that your company, the company that you work for, doesn't give a shit about you. You're disposable. So make sure you are prioritizing yourself and like not
prioritizing the Lord. You see these people? They still lost. They still don't get it. Prioritizing yourself. Prioritize Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's what we do. And people think we're crazy for that. Oh, y'all wasting y'all time. Y'all ain't getting no money. Fuck money, nigga. What is money when this system is about to collapse? You can have $10 million in your account, and in a month, that shit could be digital. And you got to take a charagma in order to enjoy it and spend it. And even then, you ain't going to be able to enjoy it and spend it because they're going to tell you what you can and can't buy. Programmable money. You can't buy, 10 steaks. They're going to tell you that you're going to have to buy one of those grasshopper steaks, man. Fly burgers. You will eat the bugs. You ain't going to be able to drive a damn sports car, man. All right? You will own nothing and be happy. So this is why We put our stock in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We are prioritizing Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. To hell with everything else, bro. And I understand that the only reason why brothers are still good and brothers ain't on here crying about a job or whatever, because the Lord is taking care of us. He keeping us, man. Okay? Everybody getting fired around you. I remember one time the job I'm at now, when I first started working there, I was a temp, you know? And so it was a few other people that was there too. That was temps and stuff too. And one day I came in there and everybody was standing in front of the front door, you know? Everybody was standing in front of the front door, and come to find out that they all had got fired. They all had got laid off. They wasn't needed anymore. That's how these jobs work, bro. If they don't need you, they'll fire your ass in a split, you know. But the moment that you gotta go, you gotta put a 2 weeks notice in, right? Whatever. Needless to say, I'm walking up to the door, and everybody's standing by the door, and like, yo, they fired us. They said we fired, we can't go, you know. And they smash that door, you know, you guys can't come in, you guys are fired. But they were supposed to had got the message the day prior after they left the job, but the message didn't go out. So they came into the job looking for a job, and they didn't have a job. So I'm in the crowd like, damn, I just got fired, and I wasn't stressing, I wasn't tripping. I'm like, damn, you know, this ain't nothing new to me, you know. I already know the Lord gonna make a way, so I wasn't tripping. But as I was about to turn around, you know, one of the managers cut through the whole crowd. Hey, hold on, hey, nah, you good? Hey, come on. And I was the only one that was allowed to come in and still work there. You think that's about coincidence, bro? That's just a quick testimony of how the Lord worked. And I was like 4 years ago. I'm at this job still to this day. Okay. But what are the odds that out of all the people that was at that damn door, they allowed me to come in and still work? You know, which I'm a good worker too. You know, I ain't just in there playing and bullshit like everybody else was. But I'm in there working. You know, I'm getting the job done. I take pride in my work. You know, so they came through and cut through everybody and said, "Hey, oh," and told me, "Hey, oh, yeah, you come in. You still got a job." All right, and that's how the Lord gonna be for us in these last days, bro. No matter what it's looking like, no matter how bleak you get, even if you do lose your job, trust the process. Okay. Call upon Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You can't apply for unemployment because this country is broke. Ain't no money in this country anymore. Okay? But the people who are prioritizing themselves and their jobs and everything else, you're going to be out here starving, hungry, looking stupid, sick in the face. And we ain't going to have no pity for you because, yay, you were warned.
Company who could easily just get rid of you the next day.
This is an example of the golden handcuffs. You can't quit. You almost can't keep going, but you don't have any choice. I mean, this is a very complicated situation, and I feel for her so much. What do you think? Comments down below. What would you do? What do you think about companies that hire people, then fire people, then hire people, then fire people, or people think that they're going to get laid off? Meanwhile, they're advertising that they're hiring. What do you think about all that? I think a lot of the jobs are fake. I think some of it is to appease shareholders that were still...
You heard that? A lot of jobs are fake, and a lot of these jobs are fake. I was watching the elder in South Carolina earlier. He was going into about these ghost jobs where you got these Indeed and these particular websites where they tell you to go in there and you can find a job, and there's all these jobs on there, but nobody's getting hired. There was a woman that said she put in over 800 applications, only got 30 interviews, and still don't have a job. Okay, and he was going into it. He said how what is cool, you know, what's being found out at is that those particular, you know, websites, when you go in there and applying for those jobs, all they're doing is collecting your data to sell it to bigger companies, you know. So Esau, he's, you know, monitoring everything, but he ain't, you know, he ain't finna give you no job. Okay, that's the last thing he's gonna give you, because they're done. You got AI, you got robots now. I saw a video the other day of a robot learning Kung Fu. He gonna learn how to, you know, put the fries in the bag soon. And what the hell do they need you for? You know? It says, Isaiah chapter 10, verse 22, but though the people of Israel are as numerous as the sand of the seashore, only a remnant of them will return. You see, and this is what we're seeing right now on the earth right now, where you got only a remnant of our people turning back to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, repenting, you know, keeping the commandments to the best of their ability. Only a remnant, not the majority of these niggas you see, you know, here in America are doing this. what we're doing. Okay? And I always say, this is the most important thing that you could be doing in the world right now. It don't matter what kind of job you got or what kind of business you running, if that shit finna collapse anyways as this place go down. The best thing that you could be doing right now is serving Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and that's what we doing through the Spirit. It says, the Lord has rightly decided to destroy his people. He gonna destroy a lot of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Indians who didn't want to repent. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua has rightly decided to destroy his people. Yes, the Lord of heaven's armies has already decided to destroy the entire land. The Lord already made his mind up. America's going to be destroyed. So why are you thinking that this place is going to be saved? Okay? It's foolish to think that this place is, can be saved. It's over. Look at this. This is Jeremiah chapter 51. And let's go to 6. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. Right. So you got to flee out of this place and not literally get you a passport and flee, because you can't run from, what's coming. It's all over the world. This is why you got all these other nations, and now you got India talking about digital ID. Why all of a sudden everybody talking about a digital ID? Because it's all one system. They want to bring in a one world order, a one world government, a one world currency, where simultaneously they're all going to come to agreement that they want to bring in a new beast system, okay, or establish this beast system where they want to bring in a new form of currency, a new form of money, a new form of life, or a new way of life. And really, it's a way of death, okay? Because they're going to further enslave you more than you already are. It says, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Most High's hand, in Yahweh Shem Yahushua's hand. America has been on top of the world, a superpower over the earth for 250 years now, okay? Which your average country, your average, empire or kingdom only lasts about 250 years. So here we are in the 250th year, coming up on it or whatever, and all hell is about to break loose in this country. You think that's by coincidence? It's over. Hey, there's not much time left. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua's hand that made the earth drunken. And this is what America has done, pushing its vile philosophies and ways upon the rest of the world, pushing homosexuality and, women's liberty and shit, all this crazy shit that America pushes all over the world. It's destroying the world. Okay? And the nations that are drunk of that cup, they're angry, they're pissed off. Which America's dollar is the world reserve currency. So all these nations that they've been using with this, or they've been, using this, this monopoly money, this dollar that's not worth anything now. I saw a post. I posted it how the dollar has lost like 97% of its power, of its buying power. So the only thing that's holding it up is a social construct that it is a dollar. All right, but as this place go down, that dollar is going to crash, and then these nations that put their their trust in that dollar, they're going to crash too, and that's going to piss them off and make them want to burn America. Okay, it's like they're going to feel like they got backstabbed too. It says the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad, and these nations are going to be pissed. That's why these nations all around the world are going to be sending all their nukes at America. Okay. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her. If so be she may be healed. You see? It ain't no healing America. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. And this is what we have done through the Spirit. We have forsaken this place, man. That's why people look at me, oh, why don't you start a business? Bro, I forsook this place. What if I got like building on land that's going to be burning? It doesn't make any sense. It's pointless. We just going day by day to get our daily bread and praying to the Lord to shorten these days, speed up the time to get us out of here. Okay? We're going to find our peace and our rest in the kingdom of heaven. But as of right now here in America, this ain't it. This ain't it. And it'll never be it. You know, it never was it. For us, you know, at least. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth into heaven and is lifted up even into the skies. And, you know, you got all these other nations coming here and they're making a killing, you know, they're getting rich off America. They're taking it back to their own countries. All right? That's what's going to happen too. You know, and Jake been here in this country since we got all them slave ships, and we ain't never got, you know, any benefits or any type of serious, you know, help, you know, here in this country like these other nations get. Okay? And you got niggas that still want to build this place up. But these other nations, they understand that they're going to take their wealth and flee. Let's grab that. Let's play some more, though.
Still hiring, but we're really not. Things are worse than we think they are. And then people will uproot their lives to go across the country for a job that they might lose tomorrow, or they're hanging on by a thread, and then they might not be able to have that baby they wanted, or that they had started building that dream house, and all of a sudden that.
Look at this. That's what happened when you chasing the American dream. You building your dream house. You traveling across the world to chase a job. I ain't never moving to chase no damn job, man. Cause I know how that shit go. You go travel across the country to chase a job, and the job fire you anyways. Not now you know, stuck in a whole nother country, a whole nother state, and you know, pretty much just that's how people become homeless, bro. You know, you ever see them homeless people on the side of the street that's bugged out, lost, confused, don't know what's going on. Hey, at one point in time they thought they had it all figured out, and they went chasing waterfalls. You know, remember that song, Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls, Listen to, yeah, by TLC. That song is heavy when you think about it, because people are chasing waterfalls. That's what everybody's doing right now, chasing waterfalls. You know? That's stupid. It's dumb. If you go chasing a waterfall, you're going to go off the cliff and end up dead. Okay? That's why when you see in the movies and stuff, people be you know, in the stream and they see a waterfall coming, they immediately turn around and try to get out of there before they, you know, fall in there. But these people don't understand that. It says, ooh, this is all good. Let me grab it. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 11. It says, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. The Lord going to humble you people. He's humbling you. You know, ain't nothing humbling like losing a job. It says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold. Yeah, right now, these people ain't checking for us. And this ain't any man. This is a man of the Lord. These people ain't checking for us right now, though. Okay, we are the most disrespected, the most hated, the most despised, you know, the most looked over. People ain't checking for us. But the Lord said, what? I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than a golden wedge of Ophir. And you don't just find gold walking down the street. You got to hunt for it. You see? Hey, really, we're the, you know, the high value men. Okay, we're the prize. I tell women all the time, bitch, hey, don't block your blessing. Because they don't know it. they think I'm talking about some money or something. But, bitch, hey, they don't get no better than this. You brothers out there understand when you dealing with women, it don't get no better than you. Because she 9 times out of 10, she ain't going to find another man that's serving the Lord if, you know, like you, if you serving the Lord. Okay, she going to go chase a Tyrone or a Pookie, and he going to, you know, get deleted right in front of her, and then she going to be next. And, you know, to a certain degree, the Lord got judgment set up for these people that you can't help them, bro. The Lord got a remnant that's going to be saved, but everybody else is going to die. So when you see people that's evil or being wicked or, you know, thinking that they shit don't stink and treating you like shit, understand that's the Lord really casting them off so he can judge them. All right? All the women that left, brothers, you women that left you and, you know, People that thought that they could do bad bad, you know, or better without you, they're gonna find out that really the prize was the men of the Lord. The men of the Lord are the prize, man. Okay. But people don't see that right now, man. They think it's about the niggas with the money and all the jewelry and shit. That ain't gonna mean nothing. Okay? You better be able to eat them chains in that day. It says, therefore, I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger, which is the day where nukes are going to rain from the heavens. Okay, and you can't say that you didn't know this was coming because we've been warning you and telling you. It shall be as a chased roe and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall run, they shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. Because as this place go down, people going to start forsaking this place. They're going to start going back to their own countries. You know? It says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. You see, if you caught up in this place, you know, join hands with this place, you're going to be destroyed with it. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their wives, just like their houses, shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Yeah, it's time we coming into. Great misery and uncomfort and uncomfort is coming. But we're going to have comfort in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. If you don't have Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you're not going to have any comfort, okay? In NLT, verse 14, everyone in Babylon will run about like a hunted gazelle. You ever see say a cheetah runs through a herd of gazelle, and they go to running all sporadic, and that's how people gonna be as they see this place crash. They're gonna start running like chickens with their heads cut off. All right. It says everyone in Babylon will run like a hunted gazelle, like sheep without a shepherd. They will try to find their own people and flee to their own land. Yeah, ain't gonna be no more, a melting pot. People gonna turn back to their own people. They're gonna go back to their own lands. And you black women out here that's swirling with these Edomites, guess what? They're gonna leave your ass out there. Okay? Or those of you that's trusting in this system. Esau gonna leave you out there. Anyone who is captured will be cut down, run through with a sword. Yeah, you're gonna be killed, man. The little children will be dashed to death before their eyes. Their homes will be sacked. Their wives will be raped. All right, and I just saw a video earlier on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. It was a woman on there, definitely a racist, definitely an Edomite. She had a video of a Jake woman, basically, I guess, she was a nanny or whatever, and she had the baby and threw the baby back in the playpen, pretty much abusing the baby, and she's like, these people are so evil to us, and they hate us for a preconceived thing that happened that they wasn't even alive for, and yada, yada, yada. She just, whatever. I say, listen, bitch. That's just payback, okay? But it's going to get worse, all right? It's going to get worse. You ain't seen nothing yet. Your children shall be dashed to pieces, man. The scripture says, happy shall he be that taketh and dashes like little ones against the stones. I said, hey, man, did you forget your history? Your people was cutting babies out of slave women's stomachs as they was being lynched, and then stomping on the babies. Y'all thought that y'all was gonna y'all was gonna sail off into the sunset and not have to pay for that, not have to feel any retribution for that. No, now is the time of judgment. Now is the time of payment. So you're gonna see a lot of these Edomites catching hell, catching judgment these last days too. And you Jakes that try to help them, your ass gonna perish with them. You gonna end up dying with them, man. I'm ready to close out.
You got to move away. I mean, these are the golden handcuffs that our debt system has created.
My company had the largest layoffs that they've done in a really long time, and it was actually one of the scariest things I've had to witness in a work setting. I never thought that I would see so many people laid off from their job at once. All morning, I just kept seeing people from my team just gone. And I got phone calls from friends saying that they were gone too. I'm thankful that I still have my job, but still a lot of things for me in this position, I find a lot of fulfillment in it because of the people that I've met and because I know that my career path can be kind of paved by the mentorship around me, and seeing that mentorship gone is really demotivating. And I feel like right now I should be motivated to work and motivated to do better because I know that my job is always on the line actually. But in reality, I'm actually really demotivated, and I actually really feel for the people that lost their job. And I kind of just realized, you're just a number to these large corporate companies.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how good of a person you are, they don't know you. They literally don't know you. They don't know what you do on a daily basis. It's all about numbers. And it's just kind of sad to think about it like that. It seems like inhumane, and I wish
I was gonna do a video.
More lies.
Actually, I was gonna do a video before I decided to do this video. I was gonna do another video concerning these ICE agents. How basically it was a video came out how they arrested a U.S. citizen because he was filming them snatching up an immigrant or whatever, and he said when he went in there, they was the ICE agents were bragging about how many people they got. He said they were just like a number unto them. So you people, they don't consider you people anymore. They consider you a number, just a body, So.
Like, it's money, it's revenue, it's numbers on a board. It's not really what comes down to you or your personality or who you are or anything like that. As inhumane as the workforce is, you have to become humane when it comes to finding a job. You have to talk to people, you have to network, you have to be open to advice, you have to do all those things. And if you're not, then it's going to be really hard to find a job. But anyways.
Yeah. Don't get fired now, man. Now ain't the time to be getting fired because boy, it ain't easy to find no job. Okay, you might not get another job for months, if not years. If we even hear that long, which I doubt it. This place ain't got much longer, man. So you can't put too many eggs in one basket here in America. We put all our eggs in the basket of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, because that's what's going to make sense. That's what's going to, keep us safe in these last days, man. All right, to hell with everybody else and everything else.
I have to work now.
Imagine bringing your side project to life just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a
complete AI. Look at it.
Everybody's in credit card debt. Everybody has a mortgage. Everybody has a car payment. They can never get off the hamster wheel because they got to keep making those payments.
And that's why I said don't get caught up in the car payments, the mortgages, and all that shit because it's literally you're literally a debt slave. You got to keep paying, and then they talking about upping the interest rates. So now you got to pay more for the same product. It's crazy, bro. You're putting yourself in a trap, like as he said, a hamster wheel.
Payments, and then they become slave to the lender. They become slave to the debtor. They become slave to the system. They can never get out of the machine, and that's what a lot of the student loans is. You can't bankrupt it. They secured it with your labor for the rest of your life. But you must make that payment. As long as you have payments in your life.
People went to them schools. They went to these schools thinking they was going to get a flourishing career, and now all you got is debt. Now you got to work even harder at your Subway job, with a master's degree to pay off the debt that you've accumulated from going to school. It's stupid. I tell people all the time, hey, don't do it, and people go and do it, and they looking stupid now, because now not only can you not afford to pay for the school and finish the school, now you don't invested all this money into it, and you ain't got nothing to show for it. It was a trap. It was a trap. All we gotta do, bro, is serve Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Go, and get our daily bread. That's all we got. That's all we worried about. Serving Yahweh Shem Yahushai, getting our daily bread. We're not too caught up in this place and the future of this place because there is no future for America. Okay, motherfuckers saying they got they're gonna have a lifetime here in America. No, this place is through. If you can't see all the signs, then that means you through.
You're working for the man, and
the
we're
man.
seeing this.
Now that's why I had put it because I always mention how I got a playlist of video topics. But this is why I put the video in here, because when he said you're working for the man, when they talk about the man, that's Esau. Okay, the man is Esau. All right, that wicked man. Okay, the border of wickedness. Okay, why would you put your? That's why I brought the scripture. Never trust thy enemy. That's the man. You gotta be a damn fool to put your trust in this man.
Because they got to keep making those payments, and then they become slave to the lender. They become slave to the debtor.
Hey, and then a little hiccup, and you in a ditch. You in a hole. You got to dig out of the hole. You know. But you got so many bills and payments that you got to pay in it. You know, scripture says we're going to be subject to payments too. Let's grab that. We shall be subject to payments, man. This is a part of our captivity. All right? This is a part of our captivity, man. All right, let's grab that too. And I'm going to grab just one more, and we'll close out through spirit. Subject. It says, Baruch chapter 3, verse 8, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. And a lot of our people have forgotten that they're in captivity. They have forgotten that you came over here on a slave ship, shackled to, you know, each other, butt-ass naked, with shit, piss, and menstrual blood all over you, man. You might have been shackled to a dead slave for months, coming over here on the passage to America. Did you forget that you are yet this day in the land of your captivity? You really thought they were going to let you flourish here? That's stupid. Okay, that's very naive. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse. We're under the curses here. Okay? And to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord, our power. Okay, so our forefathers, which were us, departed from the Lord, and now we're, you know, pretty much going through the hell for it. All right.
Slave to the system. They can never get out of the machine, and that's what a lot of the student loans is. You can't bankrupt it. They secured it with your labor for the rest of your life. But you must make that payment. As long as you have payments in your life, you're working for the man, and we're seeing this.
For the
They can
man.
crush you at any time. Corporate jobs and the man. We got to be careful.
The
of this
man.
Stuff. We got to be careful of this stuff. No debt, no mortgages, debt-free life, no credit cards. Drive the beater, and you can be your own person.
Yeah, this is why, you know, me myself personally, you know, I don't, you know, like my car, I don't have to make any payments. And you know, I mean, I ain't gonna say it's a piece of shit, but you know, it get me from point A to point B, okay? But I'm not making payments and shit and all these, you know. Because all you doing is putting yourself in slavery, okay? If something happens, guess what? They come in and take your car, they come and take your house, you know, with these mortgages and shit. You're putting yourself in slavery, you know? I was talking to somebody the other day, they was saying, I own my house. Well, guess what, bitch, I rent, okay? Because even if you so-called own it, you still don't own it. Because really all you're doing is you renting from the bank. When you got a mortgage, you're renting from the bank. So you're going to rent from somebody because you own nothing here. And even if you have your house paid off, you still got to pay the property taxes and whatnot. But if you don't have a job to pay them property taxes, guess what? They take in the house. People don't realize it's a hamster wheel because people don't see far. You know, you got to be able to see far to understand exactly where the fuck you're going. And if you can't see too far, you're going to be going in circles. And that's what these Americans are doing. Okay, day by day. You know, put yourself in a position where if this place collapses and you know, go to hell tomorrow, to hell with it. You know, I can walk out the door with my hands up and say, hey, baby, hey, I ain't worried about, I ain't attached to shit. Okay? All we have, you know, attachments to is the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and doing his work and his will. To hell with everything else. To hell with this place. You get too caught up in America, you're going to be through. All right?
I keep saying this over and over again, but debt is keeping us in these bad situations.
The American people who are watching, the reason your government is shut down at this very minute is because, despite the fact that the overwhelming majority of congressional Republicans and even a few moderate Democrats supported opening the government, the Chuck Schumer AOC wing of the Democratic Party shut down the government because they said to us, we will open the government, but only if you give billions of dollars.
It's likely going to be in the thousands. It's a very good question, and that's something that the Office of Management and Budget and the entire team at the White House here, again, is unfortunately having to work on today. These discussions and these conversations, these meetings would not be happening if the Democrats had voted to keep the government open.
I mean, this is just putting
And
people
then
into all kinds of situations.
And then they just go back and forth. The Democrats, the Republicans, the Democrats, the Republicans, the Democrats. They ain't playing a game with you people, bro. They playing a game. It's comical, you know. The red versus the blue, and they all on teams. They all at the Bohemian Grove together, you know, having orgies and stuff, man. You know, drinking blood and shit. They all in on it. That's why when you had Hillary and Trump running, they acting like they hated each other, but then you will see videos of them, you know, partying together in these particular events or whatever. You know, it's all a facade. It's a game, and you people have completely played into it. People still talking about, oh, you voted for this. You vote. Why the fuck would you vote in the first place? Voting doesn't do anything. Okay. The fact people still think it's about who you voted for shows you people are lost. And 9 out of 10, they're not gonna be found. Okay.
We got the shutdown. We got politicians that have no idea what they're doing. And you know what? Do you think that politicians should get paid if the government shuts down? Nobody else in the government's getting paid, but politicians are getting paid. Do you think that maybe they would finish their...
All right, man. But yeah, so you got people that went and got them government jobs, and they thought it was a secure job. In fact, let me get that too. They thought it was a secure job and whatnot. And guess what? It's you know, it's not secure, okay? Because now they telling people at work in the airport and these particular jobs, oh, you gotta work, but you won't get paid. You got post office and, you know, trash can workers. They all work for the city. Or you work for the government. I had a friend. I'm gonna call him a friend, a coworker, really. We was cool. This is during you know, the end of the pandemic. He was working at my job, and he ended up leaving the job to go work for the city. But before he went to work for the city, it was mandatory that he had to get that damn yab. So he went and got it. You know, he had to get 2 doses before he can start the job. So I remember when he got his last dose, he told me, I got my last dose, man. I got my last dose, so I'm not gonna go start this job. He was all excited and shit, and literally like a week later, if not a day later, it wasn't it wasn't mandatory anymore, you know? So that's the thing. When you go to chasing these jobs and stuff, you put yourself in positions. And he wasn't with it. He didn't want to do it, but he felt like he had to do it because he wanted to get this job. And, you know? So now he got this job, and he working he working for the city or whatever. But guess what? With this government shut down, you're not getting paid now. You got to work and not get paid. You still got to go to work, but you won't get paid. And your bills are still due, you know? It says, this is Isaiah chapter 30. Let me grab this too, 1 second. Security. It said, people find security in these jobs, man. You're really supposed to find security in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's it. Okay. Let me bring this out real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 7. It says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. Yeah, right. When you think you're so secure, you know, you got people that's unaliving their whole family because they see the future of America is looking bleak, and they don't want to suffer. They don't want to starve. So Esau go in the house with a double barrel shotgun and just go room to room, killing his whole family, and then himself, you know, to avoid, you know, this hell that's coming. It was a story about that, bro. It was a story about a guy when the pandemic had happened. It was a story about a guy who, I guess he had made a fake ID or whatever, or something like that for, you know, the C9, a fake V ID or whatever. And they was going to run down on him and pretty much arrest him for it, or something like that. And he ended up killing himself and his family. It was many stories like that where people was killing themselves and their family because they thought that it was the end of the world during the C-19. You know, we always say those who panic first die first. And here we are, what, 5 years later? It says Ecclesiastes or Sirach. Oh, I already read that. All right, so we got that picture. Let's go over here to Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children that saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that take counsel, but not of me. So like, yeah, and cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Yeah, they're not covering with the covering of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They covering with the covering of America. These niggas are wrapped in the American flag and thinking that that's going to help them and save them. That's foolish. That's stupid. Okay? That walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth. Yeah, a nigga ain't prayed to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, but they over there at the food stamp office crying and complaining. This ain't fair. This ain't fair. Well, did you try calling? Did you try pleading to Yahweh Shem Yahushua? Okay? Instead of talking to Esau and his wicked system. Oh, I'm sorry, it's just a system. You're wasting your time. It says, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. These people are trusting in the shadow of Egypt. Okay? They're trusting in this place, and it's already falling. It's already collapsing. You got how they got that little game, the trust fall. They trusting that somebody's behind them is going to catch them, but guess what? Nobody back there. We about to bust your head open. It says to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. And that's why I just said about the people that went and got them government jobs and whatnot, thinking that I was going to be there. They took pride in that stuff. Okay. It's going to be your shame and your confusion. It says, for the princes, let's go down. It says, verse 5, it says, they were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be of any help nor profit, but a shame and a reproach. You going to Esau like he can help you. This nigga trying to find a bunker to hide in, to run from the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. He can't help you. The burden of the beast, that's the point. All right. For the Egyptians shall help in vain and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still. You get the picture. Verse 9, that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. A lot of you Jakes have been rebellious, and you did not want to hear the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushua and the law of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So now the Lord say, don't worry about it. Cry unto the gods that you have chosen, which say to the seer, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Yeah. And then this is a very deceitful country where they'll tell you whatever you want to hear, but the whole time it be bullshit. Like these fake jobs, these ghost jobs. You go apply for a job and you think you got the job, and they have you do 2-3 interviews, but knowing they're not finna hire you. Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before them. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. Right, you trusting in this place. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out of a high wall, whose breaking coming suddenly at an instant. Right, when you least expect it, all hell gonna break loose. Your whole lives are gonna shatter in front of your face. It doesn't matter how much you worked on that damn business 7 days a week, 24 hours, because if it's going to fail. You had a Jake, there's a video came out of a Jake who went to the military. He started his own business. He went to college. He did all this shit. I did all the right things. And you laid off. He lost his jobs in his companies. He got laid off. Because really you didn't do all the right things. The right thing to do would be to seek Yahweh Shem Yahushua and to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay, in the NLT it says verse 12, this is the reply of the Holy One of Israel, because you despise what I tell you and trust instead in oppression and lies. Jake still trusting in oppression and lies from your oppressor. You think they're really here to help you? You got niggas that was saying Trump not racist, Trump not racist, Trump is an Edomite. Every last one of these Edomites is racist. Just because they put on a fucking good show, you got to be stupid and naive to think that they're not the devil. Calamity will come upon you suddenly, like a bulging wall that bursts and falls. In an instant, it will collapse and come crashing down. And that's what it's going to happen as this dollar crash. This place is going to come crashing down. People are going to be looking crazy. It's going to be bad. But guess what? You can't say you wasn't warned. You can't say you ain't know. You can't say that the men of the Lord didn't give you all the time and, energy to repent. We have risked our lives and our freedom. Giving years. Certain brothers decades, man. Our elders and apostles decades have given decades of their lives into to warning you from Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So you can't say that you ain't know. There's gonna be no excuse why you out here looking slow, and eventually it ain't gonna go. All right. And a lot of people are about to die in these last days, losing your job is gonna be the least of your worries. You're about to lose everything. People are about to lose everything. All right. And you can't say you wasn't warned. People gonna come to find out that there's no greater thing than serving Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and everything else is gonna come to naught. With that being said, I'm gonna say Shalom, Kwame Sharala, Abba Ball, praise, let's be edifying to the full elect. Shalom.